You ready?
I was just gonna feed Donnie.
Oh yeah, of course Donnie needs to be fed. Donnie, are you excited to be in the Boundary Waters?
Well, I figured now is the best time to feed her.
Now the audio is actually on. Donnie, you hungry?
Probably not. And I'm gonna leave it there while we're here.
Alright, well you leave it out there and then let's go take a
Yes.
look. Here we are, Sawbill
Oh.
Lake.
What's today, May 13th? Right?
Yeah, 13th day of May. They don't have the dock in yet, I don't understand. Somebody would have thought.
Wow, it's high. Look at how high it is.
I know, that's so cool. That is so cool.
Wow. I've never seen it this high.
That is fantastic for those of you that have seen Sawbill before. Here's this. Usually they put a dock off here. I'm sure they'll put it in again this spring, but you can tell there's. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. A little bit of a nice issue. Later with me because, of course, in true Matt style, I lost the microphone cover in the woods while moose shed hunting, and all of the audio from the video we took is terrible. There's parts where the audio is great, and those parts will be released later on farther down, but today for the rest of the video you're lucky enough to have me to kind of chat with you and talk to you about our trip. So here we are. You can tell that I'm still really new with the camera, and those of you that are seasick, I apologize. So, a couple things that should be said. We're not in the Boundary Waters. We're in the Superior National Forest here because our canoe had like a crease and a small little like dent or hole, and we didn't trust it to go the 7 miles into the Boundary Waters we wanted to go. So we found moose country that was about 25 miles out of Grand Marais. My cute dog there. Oh gosh, look at how slow that transition is. I'm still learning, folks. I'm learning the camera. I'm learning the transitions. This is really exciting for me. I've been having a ton of fun doing this. Here you can see me. I can cook this fast in real life too, if you were wondering. Um, Cooking potatoes. These are a Boundary Water staple for Becca and I. We always bring fresh potatoes, oil, our cast iron pan. That's the same cast iron pan that I cook on at home and make really good crispy potatoes. There's no like scene that we're gonna see where I'm going to like taste test them. Um, that scene just didn't happen. I just videoed the cooking and wanted to see what it was gonna look like. Like, if you haven't figured it out by now, I've owned a camera for like a month. I've video edited for like 2.5 weeks. A lot of this is just trial and error to see like what looks good, what doesn't look great. Look at how slow that transition is. Nice. And then here, Beck and I, we were moose shed hunting, and I guess to let those of you that were wondering know, clearly we didn't find a moose shed. It's tragic. It's sad. We spent 4 days really working our butt off looking for it. Lots of moose poop, lots of moose tracks. I mean, we had to be in the right area. I can't imagine we weren't. Um, we've found moose antlers in the past, so I can't imagine that. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I think the biggest issue is that there's not a lot of antlers. Just not a lot of moose, not a lot of antlers. And here we are back again. Oh, yes. This is me kind of trying my best to show terrain that we walked through right here as we look. Apologize for the seasick people, but we're just wiggling our way through the brush, right? I don't think any moose poop is on this video, but there was plenty of it that we found, especially in this really, really tight cover sort of thing. We can see the evidence for the moose browsing up above. And you can see why we're here at this time. You can see a long ways in the woods, right? There's my adventure dog Donnie here. She prefers to hang out with Becca. Becca likes to stay on a more established trail. I like to find moose sheds, so look at that time-lapse photography. I was pretty proud of that. Here we are taking plaster casts of moose prints. This now is day 3 of the trip. Now here we're going to pour another moose print. Just plaster of Paris mix, like you buy it at the hardware store. It's for patching drywall and mudding drywall and doing drywall things. But you don't really follow the instructions. I would say mix it so that it's pourable. This might be a tad thick, although this moose print came out really well. So maybe make it a tad thick. The first moose print that we poured was a little thinner and it was in more water and it really didn't turn out very good. This moose print turned out really well. We got a lot of detail out of that. We'll see us pull it out of there in a minute. Thanks to the joys of video editing, we'll get to see that. We waited an entire day since it was the national forest and really we were kind of up there alone. We were early. The gas station people at the Holiday, where they had the wonderful, wonderful coffee, said that we were about a week before the tourists. So, if you were wondering, we're not tourists. How long are we going to watch this for? My goodness. Thank you to the guy who left all of this watching plaster dry in this video. Alright, now you can see I'm pouring. This is actually my dog's footprint because she stepped in mud, so we thought we would get a Donnie print, and she's, of course, excited to have her Boundary Waters trip memorialized. She doesn't really know that she wasn't in the Boundary Waters, so nobody tell her. She had a good time anyway. Moose shed hunting is kind of the trip that she lives for. She was tired. She was ready to go home by the end of it, but she always loves going out and playing in the woods, and she's a little fraidy cat, so she's got to be able to see us, but I think her favorite time is when I wander in the woods and she can run between the safety of mom and the adventure of dad. Alright, here we go. Let's dig it out. This is the first one we poured. It wasn't on video, or at least not that I showed you. We took a video of pouring it. But we're going to see this one was poured a little thinner. And it wasn't as good of a moose print anyway. There was a little bit of water in it. I thought the plaster might displace it a little bit better. And you can tell we kind of got a plaster ball. Kind of crappy. So unfortunately we didn't do a very good job on that one. We let it kind of rinse off to see if it would get better. It never did. This is what it looked like. Still does. I don't know where we put it. Somewhere to be destroyed. It needs to be returned to the rock cycle. as a sedimentary rock. All right, here we go. This one is that one, the first one that we watched be poured. Real nice definition. This is not the biggest. The next moose print is the big one, but you can tell we got much better definition, much more detail. And so the things that I would say that led to that would be, first of all, there was less, like zero water in the bottom of the footprint. The first one had a little water in the bottom of the footprint, maybe a half inch. This one had zero. Now we're going to find out, how did Daisy's tracks turn out. This one, I was surprised, actually turned out better than the one that I thought would turn out better. So maybe I'm the wrong guy, but I think there's a certain like soil consistency that works really well. And it's like, it needs to be wet enough to hold the print, but not too wet to like interfere with the plaster. And it needs to be a good track just to start with. So I don't know if like it needs to have enough underneath the ground to like help it really get a good track. There it is. There's the pretty one. So we didn't get a moose antler on this trip, but this was the first time we had ever gotten a plaster cast of a moose print. And we had tried previously a couple times and failed, which is kind of funny because the times that we didn't have plaster, we saw plenty of prints. But anyway, thank you, Granny and Uncle Al, for all of the effort you put in to make our Wednesday coming back so much better. Thank you.